Hey, what's up, guys? It's East with Journey to Programming, and in this video, let's continue off where we were last. So last time we worked on some of these arithmetic operators here, learning how to use them, and then we also learned how to get some input from the console using console dot readline here. And what I want to do is I want to continue on with a little more talk about operators. So what I showed you guys on the last video is a few of these arithmetic operators, but what I want to show you now are how to use the greater than, the greater than, and less than operators. I think I said that right. I think I missed less. Greater than equal to and less than or equal to. There we go. So let's go ahead and use the same file we were working on last time. I'm just going to go ahead and clear out maybe the input section we had here, where we were asking the user to go ahead and input some integers so that we could do a quick sum of their input. And I'm going to go ahead and delete up to line 26, right after we define some of our arithmetic inputs or our arithmetic problems here. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and clear these out too, and we'll go ahead and start from a clean slate. So what I'm talking about are the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to operations here, or comparisons, all right? And the reason I want to bring these up is because they're commonly used when you want to, let's say, have branching cases, or you want to do a comparison with a more wide kind of range of numbers, okay? And if most of you guys have taken like a logic math class, or discrete mathematics, or algebra in general, then you've definitely worked with these. It's very, very similar in programming. The only difference is you're going to be writing code and putting this into comparison or conditional statements, and you will be using variables in this definitely. So let's go ahead and give you guys a few examples. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a few integers here. Let's say int x is equal to 3, and let's say int y is equal to 10. Okay. If I want to go ahead and show you guys how to do, or what the results of each one of these different comparison operators here are, then what I could do is something simple building on top of what we did in our last videos, and I could do something like this. If x is greater than y, then console.writeLine x is greater than y. Okay? And we haven't gone over using if statements yet, or if else statements. So we'll go over that in the next video, but for now, just know that doing an if statement like this allows a comparison to occur, and it allows you to make basically branching events occur throughout your code, or branching pathways occur. If you want to run certain code in a certain condition, then you're going to get very used to using if statements. And if you want to be a professional developer, and that's the entire point of you doing that, or even just be a hobbyist, you're going to use conditional statements like this everywhere. This is how you do everything. This is how you get code to do things for particular cases. So we'll talk about in the next video. For now, you can go ahead and just kind of copy what I'm doing here and focus on the explanation of what these comparison symbols here are doing, okay? So let's continue on. The next one's going to be if x is less than y, console.writeLine x is less than y. We'll continue on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys an example of greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So instead of writing this out completely, although you guys should do it for muscle memory, I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm going to go ahead and just change the comparison symbols in here. There we go. So we have, starting at the top, and I'm going to add some comments in here for you guys to understand what's going on. Compare x is greater than y. And I'm going to write here less than y, then greater than or equal to, and lastly less than or equal to. Excellent. So if I were to run this code right now, what do you think the output would be? So if you want, go ahead and take a quick break and try to think about what that output would be, and go for it right now. So your inputs are x equals 3, y equals 10. All right. So starting at the top, right now, we're going to do a comparison. If x is greater than y, then we're going to print this out. In this case, x is equal to 3, because that's what we've defined it as above, and y is equal to 10. Is x greater than y? So is 3 greater than 10? No. So this is not going to run, because this is returned false. This is the false statement here. The code in the line following the if statement will not execute. So we're going to skip this. Next, we're going to hit this line here. So if x is less than y, so if 3 is less than 10, then we're going to execute this line. 3 is less than 10. So in our console, or in our command line, depending on where you're running this, you should see x is less than y printed out at this point. Next, we're doing a greater than or equal to y. Really quickly, 3 is not greater than or equal to 10. So this is not going to run. Lastly, you have less than or equal to. 3 is less than or equal to 10. Thus, we will see x is less than y. So if we go ahead and save this and build, so if you go to build solution or hit Control-Shift-B, and I'm going to go ahead and maximize the Visual Studio window for you guys. If we do this, and then what we do is we go ahead and go to debug, start without debugging, then we can see that x is less than y gets printed out twice. The first one is related to line 29, where x is less than y, and the second one is related to x is less than or equal to. And just to clarify that, let me go ahead and adjust the print statements so they make sense. And we have actually a bug or a typo there, very small one, because this should be printing out greater than or equal to y. So there you go. Now let's rerun it after building. Oop. All right, I'm going to go to rebuild. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to start without debugging. And there we go. So we have x is less than y, which is this one on line 29. And then we have x is less than or equal to y. Perfect. So that's working correctly. Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's go ahead and play around with these numbers. So now what happens if we set x equal to 7 and y equal to 7? So if we look at our code and we just run through it. If x is greater than y, so is 7 greater than 7? No, it's not. So should this run? Next, we're going to say if x is less than y, is 7 less than 7? No, it is not. I asked you just a second ago if x is greater than y. No, it's not. So that prior comparison will not execute, or the line after it will not execute. In this case, x is not less than 7. This line will not execute either. So now we hit the greater than or equal to comparison here. Is 7 greater than or equal to y, or 7? Yes, it is equal to it. It's not greater than, but it is equal to. Therefore, this is a true statement, and it will execute. Next, if x is less than or equal to y, then run this line. Is 7 less than or equal to y? Yes, it is. 7 is equal to y, thus it's going to run this. So let's go ahead and confirm that. Let's save, build, and run without debugging. Perfect. So we can see here, and that may be really tiny for you guys. So let me go ahead and see if I can zoom this in for you. We see in our console that x is greater than or equal to y. So it ran these last two print statements with these last two greater than and less than or equal to comparisons. Perfect. So now what I would like for you guys to do, if that makes sense, and hopefully it does, I'd like you guys to take a few minutes to go ahead and make this dynamic. So before we started this lesson, I removed the code accepting input from the user. On the last tutorial video, what we did is we showed you how to get user input and add it together and output that sum. What I'd like you to do is use some of that code, modify it with this to take in input dynamically from a user and do these comparisons. And then go ahead and copy that code block, if you guys do go ahead and do it, and paste it in the comments down below so we can check it out. And then if you have any questions or need any help, please feel free to leave a comment down below. This is just supposed to be a quick little tutorial for you guys to learn how to use some of these comparisons here, and go ahead and look forward to the if, else if, and else tutorial that's going to come up next here. Have a good one, you guys.